Hey guys, if you're like me, you drink water. And I mean a lot of water. Let me show you a cool little DIY you can do with the empty plastic bottles you have lying around. Hey guys, this is what I'm gonna show you guys how to build. This is a self-watering pot, some would say. You may be wondering how this works. So the water in the bottom half is absorbed with a thing called capillary attraction. Basically, adhesion makes the water stick to the cloth and the cohesion makes the water stick to each other. And with these two effects, the water climbs up the cloth into the bottom of the soil and then the soil does the same. Now you may be wondering what we need for this. First, we need scissors. Then we need something to make a hole in the bottle cap. And lastly, we need something like cloth or rope to attract the water. First step you want to do is cut the bottle in half. I think cut a little higher than I did in this video, just so you can have a bigger reservoir of water at the bottom. Next, you're going to want to make a hole in the bottle cap. This will be a starting point for where you put the cloth into, or rope, or twine, or whatever you can substitute for this part. Hey yo. Here's a little close-up of what it looks like. It is just a hole. Next, with your manly or fee-manly strength, you'd want to rip your cloth into a long rectangle shape. Here, this is a little big, so I just trimmed it down a little bit more. Anyway, next you want to do is make a knot or a stoppage point in the cloth. You just want to make the knot big enough so it doesn't go through the hole in the cap. Now you're going to want to take your cloth you just tied and thread it through the hole in the bottle cap. Remember, you would want to put the longer side on the outside of the bottle cap. The cloth on the outside of the bottle cap is what will be sucking up the water. Now, once you got your knot in place inside the bottle cap, you're just going to want to screw the bottle cap onto the water bottle. It's best to tighten the cap as much as you can. As you can see, longer side is on the outside of the bottle. Next, you're going to want to take the bottom half of the bottle that you just cut in half and fill it with water. Once you have filled up the lower half of the water bottle, you're going to want to spill out just a little bit. For the amount of water in the bottom, you're going to want the bottle cap to not be touching the water, just the cloth. Here you go. This is what it should look like so far. The next thing you're going to want to do is fill the top with soil. Here, I'm just using all-purpose garden soil I got from Lowe's. It was a really good deal. I got 3 bags of these for only $10. It's the same deal I got with the mulch for the corn and the strawberries. It was 3 bags of mulch for only $10. I'll show you guys later at the end of the video. Anyway, you're just going to want to pack the top of this with the soil you got. And after you packed it, you just put it on top of the other half you have. And now you're pretty much done. Now you're just going to want to put the seeds into the soil. The seeds I've chosen are strawberries. The reason so is that these plastic bottles are way cheaper than pots. And since they're self-watering, people might want to buy them. So when these strawberries grow up, I'm going to try to sell them and see if I can make any profit. Anyway, for the amount of seeds I'm putting in each, I'm putting about 3 seeds per planter. And I don't know why, I just didn't know, but the strawberry seeds are actually so pink. Look at them. And I mean, go ahead, just look at them. They're so itty bitty tiny. Now I just plop them in and I put just a little bit of dirt on top. They actually don't need much dirt to germinate, so it's just gonna be right there on the top with a little bit of soil covering it. Now that you guys got the gist of things, let's do this about 23 more times. First step, yep, you guessed it, get more cloth. This is where stuff gets tedious. The cloth I was using was just old bed sheets I used to have, but I have so many bed sheets that I don't really need these anymore. So I just cut them up, stripped them into pieces, tied them all into knots, and then threaded them through the bottle caps. This felt like I was playing Zomboid and I was making bandages for a bite mark or something. And now the next stage, cutting 23 bottles in half. At this point, my fingers were already getting tired just holding the scissors like this. I might just be less dexterous than a 3rd grader, but I'm definitely stronger than them. You can ask my brothers. After cutting up all the bottle halves, it's time to get all the bottle caps from the bottle halves. Same thing as before, I took all of them, I made holes in them, and then I widened the holes with scissors just to make it easier to put the cloth through. Because the bigger the hole, the bigger the goal. Ha ha ha. Anyway, look at me go. Look at the precision, the determination. After that, I took all the cloth and I tied them into knots. This was probably the most tedious thing I did so far. Because once you tie one knot, you gotta tie another knot, then you gotta tie another knot, then you gotta tie another knot, and then you gotta tie another knot, and then here I am. Oh wait, I had to tie another knot. And then I started putting them through the bottle caps. Then I had to put it through another bottle cap. Then I gotta put it through another bottle cap. and I had to put it through another bottle cap until there's no more bottle caps left, because lonely bottle caps are sad bottle caps. Once all the cloth was screwed through the bottle caps, I started putting the bottle caps back onto the upper halves. And I think you know where I'm going with this one. And I put it through another upper half, and I put it through another upper half, and I put it through another upper half. And I know what you're thinking, this guy is starting to get annoying with it. My bad. Now next, it was time for me to start filling the lower halves with water. This was probably the most annoying process because I was doing this away from my water source because I didn't want to go in the sun. And thank goodness I didn't, because if I did, it would be like my last video that was glistening due to this new HDR update on my phone. Once all the bottoms were finished, I started filling the tops with the soil I got. My hands looked absolutely black after this. Who knew dirt was so dirty? Guys, please don't leave. And lastly, it was time to put the seeds into the planters. For the seeds, you just want to put them about 1/4 of an inch down. So I just pressed them down into the soil, and then I put the soil on top of the seeds very slightly, as you can see. Just tucking the little seeds into the soil like they're going to bed. Here you guys are with the final results. As you can see, the bottle caps are not touching the water line, and it's just the cloth touching the water. I do recommend moistening up the top of the soil just a little bit, just to kickstart off the moisture. And there you guys are. Here's my little thumbs up of approval. Yeah, go you and go me. Anyway, now I'm going to show you guys the update of the garden. Now you guys can see the mulch I put down over the corn. This is the mulch I was talking about that I got from Lowe's. I used about 2 bags on the garden so far. As you can see, I've layered it on pretty thick so the dollar weed don't come through. And now you can also see my big freaking thumb. Also layered the extra mulch around the strawberries, as you can see here. Here's a little update on the carrots. They're still growing. They're getting there. And then here's the candy onions. As you can see, there's some sprouts there. These bare spots, I planted extra seeds. And then here's some more sprouts. I decided to put mulch around the growing spots to prevent weeds from outcompeting the seeds. And now here's the green onions. There's the pre-planted ones. Here's the ones that came from the seed. As you can see, there's not too many. It's just a little bit. I didn't really do anything for the potatoes. I kind of just left them there. I'm sure they'll grow at some point. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire garden right now. And there's no sprouts of the marigolds yet because it's only been a day. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. And bye bye.